Hi everybody, I'm Debbie Frank and I stamp under the name of Frankly Stamping. And I was going to go live on YouTube, but I was having issues with the feed, so I just went back to privately record it and then I will upload it. So tonight I'm going to show you a triple pop-up fun fold card, and it really is not hard. It's just getting your mechanism correct, and once you do it a couple times, it's fairly easy. So this is the stamp set that I'm going to use tonight. Let me see if my recording is looking correctly. Okay, so this is the stamp set that I used, Framed Violets, and the paper is stunning, but I have used so much of it. There's really not much left. You do get 2 sticker sheets, and I've used pieces of this for my card. And then you can see I don't really have much left. I used it for a swap, and so I have used a lot of it. I love this page, but I also love the back side. And this is what I'm using on our card tonight, plus a small piece of, let's see, there's a sticker page. And then we have this Secret Sea dot, which I love, and then this piece of the purple. But there is a black or Secret Sea background with flowers, this piece. So I'm using a lot of those pieces in the card, but like I said, I can't show you the full sheets because I've already used almost my whole package of paper. This is in the July Online Exclusives product catalog, and my printer did not print it very well, but you can see all of the things that go with it. The paper, the stamp set, the dies. There's some shimmering stripes designer paper, which is absolutely gorgeous. It's tiny stripes that look like they're glittered, and I would show you, but they don't really show up very well on the camera. And then we have some adhesive backed flowers, little violet flowers, blooms, and fresh freesia ribbon. Now I went more to the purple gorgeous grape side, so I did not use any of the fresh freesia ribbon. And I really didn't end up using stamps because my hot foil system arrived and I ended up foiling the greetings that I'm going to use on it. So I'll show you one of the alternate cards that I made, and then you can see how it works. And this is the ordinary beautifully life, something like that. I forgot to look that up, but I just love the way this looks. I love all the colors in it. This is one of my favorite paper packs, and I bought several packs so that I could use it for different things. And then your card just pops up like this. Is that not a wow card? I just love it. And I used my greetings were stamped from this stamp set, which I use a lot because they're small, and I can use my triple banner punch and get my greetings. Almost all of them I think fit in the banner, in the punch. Yes, they do, they all do. And then we have a new one coming out in the new catalog that also will fit that triple banner punch, so I'm so excited for that. So I love how this card turned out, and I decided to use it. I tend to make birthday cards, so I did turn this into a birthday card. But you can see you have your mechanism back here. that helps it to fold and open back up. And you just want, you just want to keep doing this. And this is our little mechanism. Looks like I need to put a little dab of glue right back here, but it's fine. And then, I mean, you don't have to decorate the inside flap. You don't have to decorate back here. And I've done it a few different ways on different cards. I think I learned this card from Dawn Griffith, and I fell in love with it immediately. Now, she did not put this layer on the inside of her card, but I just liked the brightness it brought to it. Okay, so that is one of the cards. Here's another one. And this one is, I do have that paper. This is from the Artisan Sketched Garden, and it's got a lot of black and white, and you can see where I cut out a bunch of these one night just watching TV and colored in some of the images. And get a hold of the paper, the plastic. And I just cut a bunch out and colored them. And I've seen them used in black and white, and they look great too. So this one was just a soft, I think it was petal pink and barely blushed the new pink. And then again, I used that same stamp set to get a small greeting. I tore my paper here to give it a little bit of more dimension. And then my inside looks like this. And if you wanted, you could also decorate this piece. You'll see I did it on this one. And I think it just helps it, the mechanism, maybe not stand out quite as much. This is the first one that I had done. And you can see I did it a little bit different. I did add another piece of the designer paper here in the back. And there's another one of the flower and vases that I fussy cut with my scissors. And then I used that triple banner. And again, I just cut out all of the, this one, you can see that this banner is longer than that. And so I just put it back in and shortened it. So you can adjust the size of the banner that you need by just putting it back into the punch. Now, I do have another one to show you, but I'm going to hold it to the end. And we'll get all of our pieces out here. And you can see this is a piece of the foil that I did with Happy Birthday. And then I'm also going to use some of the little punch outs in the sticker sheet. Well, they're not stickers, I guess. They're just punch outs because they don't have adhesive on the back. But we're going to use those. And then here's another one of the foil dies that I made for Happy Birthday. And these are, again, some more of the little punch outs. This is one of the punch outs. This is the designer paper, and I'm going to use stitch shapes for my blocks. Another piece of my designer paper. Now, my front, I have already got this part made because I use this for my swap cards, this quilt design where you cut all 3 layers of your designer paper at once. And if you want to know how to do this, go to my video from last week that showed the swap cards. And I did show how to make this quilt portion. And with the little leftovers that I had, leftover sheets that I had. And I thought I had them laying here, but I don't see them. So we'll go on without it. But anyway, so this is already made. and that'll be for the front of my card. Basic card base, which is 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. This is a piece of that paper that we're going to use to decorate the inside here. And then I have cut the oval, scalloped oval, and this oval with the dies. And then we're going to, this is the mechanism. We're going to cut a piece that is, see, this strip is 1 inch by 4 1/4 inches. And we're going to score it at 1 inch and 2 inch. 1 inch, 2 inch. And then we're going to take our stylus and a ruler, or you can do it with your trimmer, which I'm going to do it with my trimmer, and we're going to make an arrow. So we're going to score from the top to the middle, or to this fold line, and from there back down to the 2 inch score line down to the 1 inch score line. So that is our first mechanism. And then our second mechanism, we're going to cut this strip, which is 8.5 by 1 1/4, and then we're going to score this at 1 inch, 3 3/4 inch, and you can see I scored it wrong when I was making my sample here. 4 3/4, so you just got an inch in between, and then either flip your panel around and scored it at 1 inch again, or it's 7.5 if you're going all the way across. I don't like to pull my arm on my trimmer out if I don't have to, so I usually just flip it around and score the 1 inch on the other side. So this is the second mechanism. And let's do that. We're going to bone fold all of the score lines, which I've already scored these because I made a whole bunch of these at one time. And make sure that they are lined up when you do your scoring. And then we're going to glue this together like so. And that will fold like that. And then that'll give this time to set up this glue while I am showing you how to do your other piece of your mechanism. Drag some down to the corner. Now be careful because you don't want it to ooze out. Because if it does, your card's gonna stick together. So we're gonna make sure that your sides are together. And then a public service announcement, make sure you are careful when you are replacing the blades in your trimmer. I feel like the new blades are sharper. I cut the end of my finger when I was replacing the blade earlier. Okay, now this is one of our mechanisms, and we're going to set it aside. Okay, now this is our main mechanism piece that we need to, I just realized there's a piece that I forgot to cut, I think. I'll have to cut that. We're going to score this. I purchased a new thing to hold my phone for my video, but it did not work like I wanted it to. Got glue on there. Okay, so I'm going to line this up in my trimmer, and I'm going to put the corner in the little line there, the little, and then I'm going to line up the bottom too, right where this 1 inch score line is. Okay, so that's where I want it to be. Of course, I've got my trimmer blade there instead. And see, you want it to go from corner to corner, right? Because this is going to fold underneath like that. And if it's kind of hard sometimes to fold on the diagonal with that small of a piece, and so if you get some that sticks up here, just take your scissors and trim it off. Okay, now we're going to go the opposite direction. We're going to go from here to here. Just want both of those score lines to be in the middle of that trough. And I moved it. Let me put this down, move this. Okay, I can see. Okay. And you end up with 2 score lines that make an arrow. Okay, and then I'm going to cut that other piece really quickly. I need a piece of the pink paper. And oh yes, I do have a piece. Okay, I just need a piece that's 1 3/8 by 1 3/8. And I'm going to cut it on this side, 1 3/8. And I don't want to cut that whole sheet, so I'm just going to cut a small piece up here and then turn it and cut it down here. And then I'll just trim it a little smaller. Okay, 1 3/8. It's right there. Okay, that one was okay. It's the side that I need to trim. 3/8. Okay, now you're going to cut that in half. And I'm using this side of it, so I need to, if you get a ridge, like I cut that paper backwards, so if you get a ridge right here from where you trimmed, just take your bone folder or your nail and just smooth that down. Okay, now I'm going to cut this in half again. Put those corners in the, I don't know if I can get it to sit still. I just need that cut on the diagonal. And sometimes it's a good idea to start your trimmer part in like here and go up and then come back, because sometimes it'll bend. If your blade's not sharp enough, it'll bend your corners down. Okay, so let's put our card together. Okay, we're going to glue, going to lay our mechanism out flat, and we're going to glue this triangle that I just cut, and we're going to glue that on this triangle. And on one of them, I did put a piece here too, on this little triangle. I just cut this again, but you don't have to do that. I mean, you can decorate it as much or as little as you want. Come on, glue. Just don't want to get too much, but I do want to get it on those corners. A tendency to pull my project close to me and then it's out of the camera. Okay, so this will just go right here. So that's 1 3/8 by 1 3/8. Okay. And then, okay, now let's put I'm going to put the front of the card together first. Okay, we'll set our mechanisms aside. We don't need this little corner, but like I said, you could take it and put it here if you wanted to. Up to you. And just trim it off with your scissors. So we'll need those for the inside, outside. Okay, so first we're going to do is we're going to glue my quilted panel on. We're just going to center that. Can't wait for you to see the other alternative that I made too. And I will have a downloadable sheet on my blog either tomorrow or Saturday, because I have some medical stuff that I have to tend to tomorrow, so I may not be home long enough to finish writing up the blog post. So just give me some little bit of time to get that done. Okay, now I'm going to glue my, and this does not cut exactly even. It's kind of a little bit like jagged, kind of an artisan type oval, which I thought was kind of a little bit weird, but we're going to center this in this scalloped oval. Okay. And then we're going to decorate that with our punch out of violets. I'm going to use these little ones on the inside. Something in my eye itches. Okay. So I think I want this to be pretty much centered, because I'm going to add this big foiled happy birthday. I think across the middle. So first I will add my scalloped oval. Hold that up so I can see that I have it. Okay, and then we're going to add our violets. Okay, and then I'm going to pop this up with dimensionals. Take the backing off of those. And I think we'll place this about maybe down here a little farther. I think I will. We'll add our jewels last after we have our inside put together. Okay. Now, I think I'm going to cut a piece for this side too. So let me do that real quick. And it's just a standard 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. I kind of like the inside decorated, too. So we'll make this 4 1/4. And then we'll cut this at 5 1/2. Sometimes I use my measurements at the bottom, and sometimes I use the ones at the top. I think I may have don't know if I cut this piece down. No, I don't think I did. Okay, so we'll put, I think I'm going to put that on that side. It's got a little bit of textured dots that they have added to this here, and I like that, so I think I'm going to put that on this side and this on this side. And my glue. And I got a little bit of extra glue here, so I'm just going to do this. And pull it to this side. Okay, so let's put this one on first. Okay, and then it looks like I have a little bit of, it may be a little off on my card base, so I'll just trim that with my trimmer when I'm done. And then we'll put this piece on. Okay. Probably because I didn't pull it into the fold enough. Okay, and I like to use the glue because it lets you move your paper. Now see, that side's perfect, but this one was a little bit off. And I will use my guillotine trimmer if I can find it. I don't know how you lose stuff when you're actively using it. Well, I don't see it, but that sure would make it easier to trim that. But anyway, okay. Now, the next thing we're going to do is take our shapes and our little designer paper squares, and I think I'm going to use this one for the middle because it is more plain, so I'll use that one in the middle, and maybe this one down here and this one up here. Okay, so I'm going to glue these to the squares, to the stylish shapes, or stitch shapes. I always forget because we've had both, and I never remember the name. But I just had them out because I had to cut. I wanted to finish that third alternative, and I had them out. They are the... Well, I thought I stuck them back in here. Yeah, they're stylish shapes, not stitch shapes. Okay, so this very first one is going to go down here. We'll glue this one on. Okay. Got to take a peek at the new catalog yesterday. Oh my word. It's got so many fun things in it. Oh goodness. Oh, and I need this piece. I was hoping I would hate the catalog because I really didn't want to spend so much as I did last quarter, but this catalog's even better than the last. Okay, so we've got our squares put together, right? Okay, and then I'll put my little punch out on here. Less glue is best. Less is best. Then you don't have glue oozing out all over the sides. Okay. So that's going to be our middle focal point. Okay. So the first one we're going to put down is our, actually I think I want to put this one on the top. So we'll put our base piece down first, okay? And we're just going to center it, and we're going to go all the way to the bottom. We're almost to the bottom. I'm going to leave just a little tiny sliver of designer paper down there that I can see, okay? So we have successfully placed the first square. Now we're going to take our little triangle arrow mechanism, and we're going to add glue here on this little bitty piece that's going to fold under. That's the only place we're putting glue right now. And like I said, be careful because you don't want it. I just take the tip and kind of pull it out to a corner, and then I'm less apt to get glue where I don't want glue. Okay. Okay, I'm going to fold that under. Now you're going to line this point with your score line. And it's going to, this part's going to sit just a hair above, like a 1/16 of an inch above this first square, okay? So we're going to line this up with our score line. And it's going to go right. See, I can still see the designer paper in there. Okay, there's my center fold line. And I'm just going to hold that and let that set for just a second. Before I start messing with the others. Now, if you want to add another greeting, you can do it here before you put your mechanism in. Or I guess you probably could still, you could still stamp something here if you wanted to. But I chose not to. I'm just going to leave it with the designer paper back there. And I know you'll see, I did them different. The one that I did here, I used the strips. These are strips. And then I added a piece there because I wanted that decoration. This one, I only used the strips. I didn't put anything back there. So, it's up to you. You can decorate it the way you want. Okay, now we're going to add our next mechanism, and that's this piece. First thing that you're going to do is you're going to fold it where you have this square is at the top, okay? You want a square at the top, square at the bottom. And we're going to glue this. We're going to glue this square at the bottom. Like I said, be careful you don't get too much. Smear it around with the tip of your glue bottle. Okay. And then we're going to center this behind the mechanism. And above, you want the gap. You want to be able to see your designer paper there. So we're going to put that there. And then I want to see where that arm is going to, okay. My arm is fine. So I'm going to hold that just for a second. We're almost done with our mechanism. This is so easy. And then we're going to glue the mechanism to this piece right here. I only had one that I had to tear apart because I had it in the wrong spot. Okay, so I'm going to hold that so that gets a good seal on it. And I'm going to grab a drink while we're letting that set. And while I'm holding that, I'll recap these pieces. Standard card base. And I did use the 4¼ by 5½ sheets inside. You don't have to. You can use a strip 1" by 5. Well, I like to go all the way to the bottom, so I did it 5½. And then your mechanism is 1" by 4¼ and you're going to score it at 1" and 2". And then you've got this mechanism, which is 1 by, nope, 1¼ by 8½ inches. And then you're going to score it at 1, 3¾ 4¾ and 7½. Okay. And then these squares, I used the largest Stylish Shapes square. And then on one of them, I think I cut the next box, you know, the next square down in size. But with this one, I didn't want that much white space showing. So I just cut my paper where it would fit just inside of the stitching, okay? So we're going to glue our second square on now, and we're going to put it where we still want to be able to see that little bit of designer paper. I maybe could have moved this up. No, I think it's okay. Let me see. I think it's okay. Okay, so let's decorate this before I put it on. I think it'll be a little easier. Okay, so I'm gonna put I try to tape my paper down where it's not moving around, and I use the paper so that the light is not so glaring on my glass mat. Okay, so let's decorate our piece here first. I think I have all the pieces here. Okay, so I'm going to use these, and I'm going to pop these flowers up. And yes, you can pop them up and it'll still, you know, open and close okay. And I'm going to use all of these on this piece. I'm not going to add anything to the top, to my top square or my bottom square, okay? So I'm just going to arrange these how I like them. I'm going to put the happy birthday, I think, at the top here. Okay. Like I said, don't need very much glue. Less is more with glue. Okay, I think that's centered. Okay. And then I think I want this one to be down here. And then we'll put our flowers kind of in the middle. I think that's perfect. Okay, and then we'll add some of our violets. I think I'm going to glue this one down. So that I can see the letters. Okay. And then I'm going to grab my little dimensionals and we're going to add 1, 2. Might have to cut this in half. Come on, turn. My little charms are, I keep, they're crystals, and I love crystals. And I found this little bracelet, but I don't like the dingle dangles on it. Okay, so we're gonna pop maybe here on this one. And then see if we can fit another dimensional under. Nope, I don't think we can on the white. We'll have to cut it. Where are my scissors? See if that shows. Not much. Take the backing off of that one. And we'll layer that there with our purple. Maybe pull the purple on top of it. Okay. And then I have another half a piece here. And this has a bigger petal that I can put that on. And we'll put this one maybe right there with the purple one. And then this little one I think I might put up there. And I think I will glue this one. And I probably just need a dot in the middle there. And I'll kind of, you know, poof that up a little bit. Same thing with this purple. Poof it up a little bit. Okay, so there's our gorgeous greeting that's going to go in the middle. Okay, let's add our, we're almost done. This really does go together quickly. Okay, now we're just going to put this in the, we're going to put glue in the center spot here. So only add glue to the middle of your square. Because if you put it on the whole thing, it's not going to work. Okay, so I'm going to lay my mechanism down. And I want to be able to see that little bit of designer paper that's sticking out the bottom there. Okay, now I'm going to hold this for just a second. And then we're going to finish up with our last one. And then we're going to add our jewels to the front. And then I will reveal my last alternative card that I made for this template. Okay, same thing. See, which way is up? This way is up. Okay, same thing. I'm only going to put glue on this part of the mechanism. And I'm not continuing to add glue. I'm just spreading it around. Okay, so this is going to go, and I'm going to leave a little gap. Make sure you can see what I'm doing. But I'm going to line it up so that I'm even here and here, but I can still see that little bit of white of the mechanism between here. Okay, so I'm going to hold this down. So this sets. Okay. Now, ready to see the ta-da! Is that not amazing? And see, you do, when you first open your card, you do, I mean, you do see this. So you could add a greeting there if you wanted to. Okay, now we have these jewels. We have some butterflies, and we have these sit up really high. I don't think you would want to add these if you were going to mail it. But let's see what we think might look good. I think I might add one in the middle of that flower. And then I think I'm going to add some of the butterflies. I think we'll use the white ones. I don't know where I want to put them though. I have a gnat that keeps flying around. And they say to make a triangle, so we'll put one here. And we could add some Wink of Stella if we wanted to add a little glimmer to our flowers. But we have so much glimmer, I'm going to cut this strip of designer paper that I did not get placed quite. Where I wanted it, I guess. Okay. So there is our card, birthday card. And then it's going to pop up like this. I think we might add a butterfly inside too. Just folds down. Like I said, if you wanted, you could add another striped piece to this part of the white mechanism. But I thought by adding, you know, paper here, paper, and you've got your paper here, that it just kind of all blends in. It's not as, it doesn't stick out or isn't as noticeable as if it were all white and sticking out. I think I might add a butterfly here too. Now I could have added more greetings, you know, down here and up here if I wanted to on this one. But I liked this one, the center square being the focal point, and so it's the one that got all of the bling and the our little flowers. And then again, this is using the hot foil system, and they have a whole stack of just greetings, and I made a whole bunch of them, and like 2 or 3 sets of them, and cut them, and then they have a die that cuts them apart. So first you do the gold foiling on your cardstock, then you take your other die. There's 2 kinds of dies, 2 different kinds of dies, and it cuts them out into the into your little strips. And I did a few, like we could add, you know, have a lovely day here. Oh, let's do that. That looks kind of cute there. And it really pops, I think, on this dark on the dark background here. Is that level? Okay, I like that. Have a lovely day. Happy birthday. Here's to another year. And let's see, do I have anything else that's birthday that we could add on the bottom? We could have cheers to you, sending hugs. Well, let's do cheers to you. We could add cheers to you. Let's see what that looks like on the bottom down here. And since I added this one to the right, we'll add this one to the left. Cheers to you. I like that. I like these little sentiments. And I was going to, I also did a bunch, you know, with that banner sayings, and I keep those handy for when I am making a quick card too, and that really makes designing go by faster. I mean, sometimes I can spend all day on a card, and then other times it just comes together really quickly and it's done in no time at all. Okay, I like that. I think that turned out really good. And they also have like some of the bigger greetings. Thank you. Celebrate. Thinking of you. I don't get well. And then the birthday, I think, were all that was in the bigger words. You could put something over here. I did make one of these cards with the balloon festoon set, and I put a big balloon over here and put a greeting on the big balloon. And then I also layered up, you know, balloons on the front. So that's our violet card. Now I will show you the one that I made today. And that is one of the Christmas in July cards. Merry Christmas. And this is the a stitched stocking is the stamp set, and the die set, which I did use the holly and the berries, and I used this tree you'll see on the inside, and then I used both of these banner dies, and I used Merry Christmas. But you'll see it doesn't have to you and yours because it wasn't going to fit on my smaller greeting, and I wanted to layer those. So what I did was I took my stamp and a Post-it note. Let me grab a Post-it note here. Oops, got ink pads falling. So I took a Post-it note and covered up where's a block? So I put that on my block, and then I took this Post-it note and I added that and pushed that down. And I think I ended up like getting just a little touch of that. I think it's a T that sticks up right there. And I didn't notice it, or I would have cleaned it off before and then I ink this up. And then I will stamp this on my, then I take this off. Yeah, see, I don't think I caught it this time. And I'll just stamp it here on my, so you can change your greetings if you need to, and I'll wipe that off in a minute. But that's what I did with that. And then we still have these peppermint greetings, and then the inside is, and I also used the plaid embossing folder here. If you can see, I added to, and this is the designer paper that I used to instead of cardstock. And then here's the inside. And you can see here I did not use the full sheet, and I did not decorate the inside on this side. And I cut out the trees on this paper, and I'll show you that paper. I used this as my paper here that I used with the embossing folder. And then we have all these little squares, quilt squares. Cute, cute paper. Backside is all holly. There's that paper. You get 2 sheets of each design. These are all birds and trees. And then candy canes on the back. And then I did use this on one of the squares here. It needed, you know, something behind the little tree. There's the little tree. And I took one of the stamps and I took Post-it notes and blocked all of this part of the block off, and then just stamped some so it kind of looked like leaves on there. And then here's another piece, and this is the full sheet of the trees that I used. And these are little quilt blocks. The back side is this print. And then this one is a full focal point. Like you could use this on, as you know, hanging picture for Christmas, or you could use it for if you make the shadow boxes samplers, you could use it for that. Here's a whole sheet of snowflakes, and this is Secret Sea color. And just see, is that all? Yeah, I think that's all. Yeah. So that's the, and it's called a stitched designer paper. And then the stamp and the die set. And I did not use the, you know, stocking or anything, but that's the stitched stocking. And I used this stamp to kind of make my tree look like it had leaves on it. And some of the peppermints, and I used that triple banner punch again. And my room is a little damp. And it seems like my paper did not want to punch well. And sometimes if that happens to you, it's because you may have a little bit of humidity in your room and your paper does not like that. So I added, of course, opposite corners and then the middle. Used the peppermint for my tree topper. But that's my Christmas in July card. So I hope you liked the cards. I hope you'll give me a thumbs up, leave a comment, and tell me which card you liked the best. We have the one we made tonight, the violets, and then we have the Christmas one, and then we have, gosh dang, I wish I could remember what that's called. It's Extraordinary Life, or Beautiful Extraordinary Life, or something like that, but I adore this. And then this is that garden one. So which is your favorite? Which card is your favorite? And this one opened up to all of those pretty hearts and those pastel colors. Our violet was pieces of the designer paper and some of the little punch outs that comes with that set of designer paper. Then we had the garden vases and flowers, all mainly black and white, and I colored mine. And then my Christmas one. Thanks, everybody. I know that my friend Kathy Schmidt, the Backyard Stamper, is going to be going live later this evening, and please go watch her and give her a like and subscribe. It's free, and it tells YouTube that you want to see what we're showing you. And so it's a free way to support your favorite creators. So again, if you would just give me a like, a comment, share if you think somebody else would like to see this card, and I will have a download link in my description that I will add when I get my blog post done. So that should be up in a day or two with all of the measurements. Okay, thanks everybody. I hope you enjoyed it.